Thank you very much. Please take your seat. Ladies and gentlemen, this journey begins with small steps. You are welcome, and Alhaji Wahab Yahya to lead us in the Christian and Muslim prayers respectively.
Shall we pray? Our Father and our God, we want to thank you even this afternoon for our lives. We thank you for how far you brought us. We want to thank you for the life of the lecturer even this afternoon, Engineer Professor FELIX ABAGALE. We thank you, Lord, for this journey so far. We want to commit this program into your hands. Come guide us and lead us by your Spirit. I pray that we will receive understanding. Give us a heart to even receive from the lecture. I pray that we will be invited and equipped even with the lecture that we receive today. In the end, we'll be careful to give you the praise and the glory. We pray that you grant him utterance. And may the word that you will speak even to us, the word that will be carried even along, even to share with the next generation. We bless you in Jesus' name. Amen.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله for this day. Allah, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the life of the university, the life of the management, the life of the speaker. Allah, we thank you for making this day possible. And we pray that you bring your peace, guidance to the program. May the program be very successful. Allah, give the speaker the wisdom, the energy to deliver. We pray this in your mighty name. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والصلاة والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Thank you very much. Reverend Edward Boni Boateng is the Deputy Registrar at the School of Medicine, and Alhaji Wahab Yahya is the Head of Academic and Student Affairs. Thank you very much. It's now my pleasure to invite the Registrar, Mr. Nuruddin Issa Abubakar, to introduce our chairperson for today's talk.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have the pleasure to introduce the chairperson for this occasion. The chairman for this occasion is a known face, is a father, a mentor for all of us. He is the person of Professor AYUM, the Chief Executive Officer and the Vice Chancellor of the University for Development Studies. Professor TEYE began his career in this university in 1996 when he was appointed a lecturer in the Department of Animal Science of the then Faculty of Agriculture. He rose through the ranks to become senior lecturer in 2006 and assistant professor in 2010, then a professor in 2014. Professor TEYE is a prolific writer with more than 130 publications in his credits. In investment management, he also has very rich experience in higher education management and administration. He was the head of Animal Science Department of the Faculty of Agri, now Faculty of Agriculture, Food and Consumer Science, from 2005 to 2008, and became the dean of the same faculty from 2008 to 2012. In 2012, he was elected Pro-Vice Chancellor of the university, a position he held until his appointment as the Vice Chancellor of this university in 2015. A position he still holds to date. Thank you very much. Honorable Chairman, the audience, your Chairman. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you. Thank you, Registrar, for introducing me twice. So you introduced and then you start reading a long story. So I would like to, on behalf of the university, welcome everyone in this room for our 10th inaugural lecture. As protocol demands. The registrar of UBS, my colleague Vice Chancellor from UBS, any other person available? Our Northern Regional Minister, and any other minister available? Principal officers of UBS, deans and directors, heads of departments, members of convocation, college senior members, senior and junior staff, alumni of the great university, members of Ghana Institute of Engineering or Engineering, distinguished invited guests, Sovereign Ashab from WITA, Professor Evavo, Supervisor of the Speaker from TEYE University, distinguished invited guests, family members, students, friends of the media, ladies and gentlemen. Permit me to briefly introduce our speaker for today. Engineer Professor FELIX ABAGALE, an astute academician, distinguished lecturer, teacher, administrator, outstanding team player, the leader, excellent and result-oriented researcher. He was born in December 1978 in Nabrongo, and he had a basic school in Valovia in Nabrongo. I hope I pronounced the name well. And came down to Tamale, Ghana Secondary School, or Ghana School for his secondary school education. He then enrolled in UDS and obtained his first degree, Bachelor of Technology Agriculture, in 2003 from the University for Development Studies.
He then proceeded to the University of Science and Technology for his master's in agro-environmental engineering, and later Doctor of Philosophy PhD in soil and water engineering in 2008 and 2014 respectively. In 2008, he obtained a certificate in research methodology from the University of Victoria, South Africa, and also undertook a research intensive in the same university in the same year in Kyoto University, Japan. In 2018, was included in Ghana. He was inducted, into the Ghana Institution of Engineers as a corporate member, number M07969, and licensed to practice engineering as his specialty. He rose through the ranks in the university, just like the registrar attempted mentioning mine a few minutes ago. He was a senior research assistant between 2004 and 2008, principal research assistant 2008 and 2009. Then a lecturer from 2009 to 2013. He then got promoted to the senior lecturer position from 2013 to December 2017, all in the Faculty of Agriculture of the University for Development Studies. By the end of hard work and commitment to duty, he became an associate professor of soil and water engineering on 12 January 2018. And by April 20th, 2021, he was promoted to the position of professor in soil and water engineering in the School of Engineering of the University for Development Studies. I may go over that page again for emphasis. He became an associate professor of soil and water engineering in January or on January 1st, 2018. And from January 1st, 2018 to April 20th, 2021, he was an associate professor. By April 21st, 2021, he became a professor. And that's why we are here today for the lecture. Since 2003, he continued to provide dedicated service to his alma mater, that's GABRIEL, holding several positions, including coordinator, Faculty of Engineering from 2015 from June 2015 to October 2015. Then later he was made the foundation dean of the School of Engineering. He became the director of West Africa Center for Water, Irrigation and Sustainable Agriculture, we call WATMISA, since January 1st, 2019 to date. He was elected and appointed Pro-Vice Chancellor of the University for Development Studies for the first term in 2019, and is currently serving the second term. He was just re-elected last year, 2021. His research experience is optimized by over 60 peer-reviewed articles that have been published in reputable academic journals over the past 19 years, an average of 3 papers per year for his 19 years service to the university. In addition, he has over 30 reference conference proceedings So if you add that to the peer review, we are talking about 90 publications. He is a standing academic. He is an accomplished academic in federal. He is standing as an accomplished academician in federal demonstrated in the number of organizations interested in supporting his work or research. And to name some of them, we have the World Bank, which is sponsoring the Westminster Center. We have GIZ. Then we have the National Research Institute for Sustainable Development, the IRD of Norway. Then we have Danish Fellowship, Vienco, JICA, Alliance, France Development, my 25, so pardon me. Japan Society for the Promotion of Science, JSPS, IFC for Young Scientists Reading, and Ghana Tertiary Education Fund, GESRA. He has participated in the joint research, including working with the University of Ghana, International Institute of Water and Environment, TEYE, in Burkina Faso, Ghana Meteorological Agency, UNU-IRA, University of Tokyo, Kyoto University, among others. As part of his community service and outreach, he has acted as a subject matter specialist and consultant to many international and local organizations, including MIDA, that's the Millennium Development Aid Authority, International Water Management Aid Institute, UN World Food Program, UNIDO, SND, Netherlands, Development Organizations, CARE International in Ghana, Water Research Commission, World Vision International, and many others. We attended and participated in several international conferences, workshops, including IUCN, World Conservation Congress in Marseille, France, in 2021. Then Acceptable Responsible Mining and Sustainable Development Network Food Camp in Niamey, Niger, in June 2021. Workshop on best practices in donor fund management, Kigali, February 2019. 11th Higher Education Center of Excellence 1 and 2 workshop held in Dakar in September 2019. And African Engineering Games Summit in 2017 in Ogun State, Nigeria, and many other international conferences. Nationally, we participated in over 40 conferences and workshops, including National Stakeholder Consultative Forum towards Sustainable Infrastructure Development in Higher Education in Ghana in 2021 at KNDS, a 6-day capacity building workshop in safeguard monitoring and evaluation and endowment management of First Africa Higher Education Center of Excellence held in Kufuor, 2021. Accelerated impact of CGIAR climate research for Africa, Ghana, also in 2021. Stakeholder consultation on introduction of STEM education program in higher institutions for schools and tertiary level in 2021, and many other. He also participated in NCTA leadership development training in Kosovo in 2016. As a member, he has successfully supervised and currently supervising over 40 graduate students master's and PhD, and have supervised over 70 undergraduate students. He served as an external examiner to other universities in Ghana and program assessor for GTEC, as well as National Council for Higher Education of Namibia since 2017. He was the chairperson of National Public and International Affairs, Ghana Institution of Engineers, and the council member of Ghana Institution of Engineers in 2017. He served as the national president of the Alumni Association from 2009 to 2020. That's 11 years. He was the president of UBS Alumni Association. He's been the chairman of several committees in the university. So I want to leave them. We'll be here for another 30 minutes. Currently, with his position as the Vice Chancellor, he chairs all the committees that are to be chaired by the Vice Chancellor. Committees involve from disciplinary to welfare, including Statutory Review Committee. He is a reviewer of academic journals and conference proceedings and belongs to several professional associations, including International Water Resource Association, International Federation of Engineering, Education, Sciences, Ghana Institute of Engineers, Global Engineering Games Council, African Engineering Games Council, African Engineering Education Association, Ghana Science Association, Ghana Institute of Horticulture, West African Society of Agricultural Engineering, and Ghana Society of Agricultural Engineering. He loves music and gardening. I don't know the type of music he loves music. It could be reggae. Folklore. We will learn very soon. It is worth mentioning that you are the first alumnus to occupy the high office of Pro-BC or Pro-Vice Chancellor of the University for Development Studies. Please permit me, and I may also add, that he is the first alumnus of the university to give inaugural lecture. Please permit me to add that Engineer Professor FELIX ABAGALE is the first alumnus and the first senior member in the School of Engineering of the great university to attain the rank of professorship, as I said, and to deliver his inaugural lecture. May I now take your indulgence to invite Engineer Professor FELIX ABAGALE to deliver his lecture. Thank you.
While Prof is getting ready, putting himself together, the principal officers up here will take their seats down here so they can follow the presentation. While they are taking their seats, permit me to acknowledge some very important personalities in our midst. We have in our midst Honorable Dr. Hafiz Bin Saleh, who is the Upper West Regional Minister. You're welcome, sir. We also have Professor Felix Doku Osei, who is the VP of FEUB. Visas, Navajo. We also have in our midst Mr. John Francis, who is the registrar, UDWA. I also see Bishop of Albert Luther, Co-Vice Chancellor, CKT, Utah, Navajo. I see Togwe George Debray in our midst. You're welcome, sir. Director of Work, Engineer Abitu, you're welcome. Director of Finance, UDS. I see you. Yes. Mr. Hadi Taibu. I also see Prof. David Miller, former Pro-VC. You're welcome, sir. Former Pro-VC UDS, Professor Sebi Al-Hassan. You're welcome. And Professor Dito, Sir Dito is also in our midst, former Pro-VC. I acknowledge your presence to be a stateful the fourth of Wisa traditional area, Walter River. You're welcome. So I think we'll do that for now and we'll continue later. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam Sauda. And thank you so much, the Vice Chancellor, for that elaborate introduction. Good afternoon. The chairman of this occasion, the Vice Chancellor of the University for Development Studies, Professor GABRIEL, the registrar, the regional ministers present here from the Upper West, the Northeast region, and our landlord, the Northern Regional Minister, Vice Chancellors, registrars, Pro-Vice Chancellors of Utahs and UBs, Principal Officers of the University for Development Studies, traditional rulers, deans and directors of the University for Development Studies, heads of departments, members of academic board and convocation, colleagues, senior members, senior and junior staff, alumni of our great university, members of the Ghana Institution of Engineers, my supervisor at the master's and PhD level, Professor Nicholas Favor for KUST, distinguished invited guests, family members, friends, students, media personnel, ladies and gentlemen. I am deeply grateful and honored to be given this opportunity and platform by the Vice Chancellor of our University for Development Studies, Tamari, to deliver my inaugural lecture. I am also very delighted to all seated here today as colleagues, family, friends, students, and especially all those who have contributed to this career field. As a citadel of academic excellence, the university has provided this platform for professors to share their research work. It is my hope that as the COVID-19 eases out, we will rekindle the inaugural lectures on a regular basis to catapult our institution into higher levels of academic ranking and excellence. Chairman, I must indicate that this lecture is being delivered at a time our university is ranked as the 4th best university in the country, the 13th in the West Africa region, and the 42nd in the Sub-Saharan Africa, according to the Weibo Metrics ranking. and this feat has been chalked at no less time than 30 years of our existence. Together, it is my belief that we shall succeed in building an enviable and excellent world-class academic institution that will be recognized globally. Chairman, as the first alumnus of this our great institution to deliver an inaugural lecture, and for that matter, the 10th inaugural lecture, it is my hope that this will set the stage for the rise of the alumni into believing in ourselves, that the training we receive and our ability to deliver excellent results in our chosen areas of expertise will be brought to bear. This lecture delves into areas connecting water resources and irrigation potential of the global south, whilst emphasizing the challenges and emerging opportunities for transformation, and also noting the changing climate and the environment in which we work. Mr. Chairman, the presentation comes of this of work I have together with colleagues or alone or with my students have undertaken in this university of ours or with other institutions within and outside our country government. Our well-recognized and excellent supervisors, colleagues, and collaborators, as well as partners, as well as students, have played excellent roles in contributing to this delivery today. I hope that, Mr. Chairman, after this short lecture, we shall all have a take-home message as sustainable livelihoods, depending on our rivers, and riverine systems is central to economic growth in the global south. Mr. Chairman, with your kind permission, may I now respectfully request your time and patience to deliver the 10th inaugural lecture titled Damming the Rivers for Sustainable Livelihoods, Challenges and Emerging Opportunities in the Global South. Mr. Chairman, I'll be going through the presentation in this order, looking at literature on water resources and irrigation, the contributions in terms of research work that has been done, as indicated by myself and colleagues, then the challenges in the global south relating to irrigation development, the emerging opportunities of irrigated agriculture, some conclusions and acknowledgements. I start with this picture which shows and presents river systems in our ecosystem carrying water downstream for use by various players of the water sector. And this is a very important resource that has to be protected for generations yet unborn. Some technologies that I'll be using during my presentation, Chairman, include a dam, which is just commonly known as a man-made feature, anomaly of impervious material that is built across a river or a stream or any natural water course for the purpose of creating a reservoir upstream, and then the users can use the water downstream. Drainage area, also known as a basin or a catchment area, refers to the area contributing all the runoff water. That is when rain falls, all the water that collects at a particular river, there is an area that contributes to that. And that is called the drainage area. The global south is also going to be used in one way or the other. And this was first coined by a social activist called Carl Oxley in 1969. And the global south refers to countries such as the developing countries in which we are, the least developed countries, third world countries, underdeveloped countries or economies, called the out-of-favor third world countries. Irrigation would involve the official application of the right quantity of water at the right time for crop growth, lawn establishment, or for landscaping purposes. A river basin will also be mentioned, and it is a geographical unit that defines an area where various users or actors of the basin interact. A spillway is designed normally to discharge flood waters that cannot be entrapped in the reservoir because of excess flow. Lastly, we'll be looking at sustainable livelihood, and it has been defined by the UN Economic and Social Commission for Asia and Africa as having the ability to cope and recover from unexpected events, while at the same time enhancing current and future capabilities. Chairman, let's take a look at agricultural revolution and irrigation across the world. And the earliest towns and cities were developed independently to the various regions of the world around rivers. And these gift areas have experienced their first agricultural revolution and characterized by a transition from hunting and gathering to agricultural food production. Mr. Chairman, the 5 world regions considered as the gift areas are the Mesopotamia, the Egypt, the Indus Valley, the northern China, and the Mesoamerica. The first region of independent urbanism were in Mesopotamia and Egypt from around 1300 BC. And the Mesopotamia, the land between the Tigris and the Euphrates rivers, was the eastern part of what is commonly referred to as the Fertile Crescent. Chairman, the first mention of human, that is Adam, in biblical records also marks to this location. The Garden of Eden had 4 headwaters in the Mesopotamian region that includes the Tigris and the Euphrates. The Nile River is one of them, as this Nile River is not mentioned especially in the King James Version of the Bible. It plays a very important role in early events in the life of Moses in Exodus 2-3 and Moses 2-3. The prophets Amos 8:8 and Amos 8:9-5 and Jeremiah use the Nile as a symbol of Egypt, a concept that is readily understood in terms of the river's historical importance to the survival and well-being of the country. For Egyptians, the annual flooding of the Nile with the deposition of fertile black alluvial soil meant that enrichment of the floodplain and the difference between food and farming for a particular year. The Euphrates River was first mentioned in Genesis 2:14 as one of the 4 branches of the river that watered the Garden of Eden, and it flows 1,700 miles to become the longest river in Western Asia. 2 important tributaries, that the Lake and the Kabul, flow into the Euphrates from the north before it continues onto the Asian trade center at Mari. About 90% of the flow mysteriously is lost along its flow to irrigation, evaporation, pools of water and lakes, swamps, and so on and so forth. The Tigris River, which is the third, is about 100 miles west of Lake Van in the Armenia and flows southwestly direction about 1,150 miles before joining the Euphrates and emptying into the Persian Gulf. It achieves flood stage during March and April when the melting mountain snows and subsides after mid-May. In Antiquity, its banks were inhabited by a dense population maintained and made prosperous by an excellent irrigation system. The Euphrates is about 9 meters higher than the Tigris, and it allows for irrigation canal construction. The last, which is the Jordan River, consists of a series of springs and tributaries resulting from the rains and snows on the heights of the mountain Hermon. Along the eastern edge of the Hule Valley, it flows southward into Lake Tenerife. That is the Sea of Galilee, and only about 8 miles wide and 14 miles long. The freshwater of the Galilee and its fishing industry sustained a dense population during most historical periods. Mr. Chairman, if you permit me, I move to see the resources in terms of water distribution across the globe. Water as a natural resource is very vital for our survival as human beings. And studies have indicated that across the world we have about between 42,780 to 44,540 cubic kilometers per year of water. And on the capital basis of each continent, America has 24,000 cubic meters a year of water, Europe 9,350 meters per year, and Africa 5,000 cubic meters per year. Asia has at least 3,400 cubic meters per year. And if you look at the graph, the one before this one, you realize that America, as we know, the superpower even in water, is having about 45% of the global water resources. Asia has 25%, Europe 16%, Africa 9%, and then the rest of the continents have 2%. Globally, again, we know that water is mostly in two parts: fresh water and brackish or saline water. And saline water is about 97% on the earth, while fresh water is only 3%. So as we talk, we are interested in the 3% of water that's available for our use. And out of the 3%, 68.7% of this is contained in ice caves and glaciers, while 30.1% is groundwater. Surface water, which the rivers carry, is only 0.3% of this water across the world. And the other percentage, 0.9%, belongs to the other categories. Out of the 0.3%, lakes have 87%, swamps 11%, and again, we go for the lowest one, rivers, which is 2%, our interest today. This fresh water, which is contained in rivers, is known to be scarce in many parts of the world as a result of population growth, climate change, and it is expected to further increase in value as the years go by. In 1995, 31 countries were classified as water scarce or water stress, and it is estimated that 48 and 54 countries will fall into these categories in the year 2025 and 2050 respectively. Agriculture is known to be the largest consumer of freshwater resources across the world, and it accounts for between 70 and sometimes be more than 90% of freshwater resource consumption across the world. This, as I indicated earlier, Chairman, is affected by spatial and temporal variability, as well as an influence from climate change and anthropogenic activities. 10 countries have been classified across the world as the poorest countries in terms of water resources per human being, per inhabitant. Luckily, Ghana is not part of these countries. The countries are Bahrain, Jordan, Kuwait, Libya, Arab, Jamaria, Maldives, Malta, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, and Yemen. 27% of the water resources are formed by 5 largest river systems across the world. And these are the Amazon, the Ganges, the Congo, the Yans, and Orinoco. Gentlemen, let's now delve from the world level. We move to our area, that is Sub-Saharan Africa, which largely is the global south. Reports from EC, that's the Economic Commission of Africa, indicate that freshwater situation in Africa is not encouraging. And more than 3 million people live in water-scarce environments. Presently, Africa's estimated population is about 1.3 billion, and this estimate is as of 2018, and accounting for 60% of the world's population. And lack of water has been noted to constrain development, especially food production, health, and industrial development. Continentally, Africa has less than 4% renewable water resources withdrawn for agriculture, domestic supply, sanitation, and industry. And ample water resources are available if developed and managed sustainably, will contribute to we achieving our SDGs 1, 2, 6, and 13, as well as the African Water Vision 2025. The African Water Vision recommends an increase in the development of water resources potential by 5% in 2005, 10% by 2015, and 25% by 2025 to meet increased demand for the various sectors mentioned earlier. Chairman, if you observe this map on the screen, the lighter color, that is white, that moves to the deep blue, indicates the per capita water consumption per year for each of these regions. And you observe that for the Africa part of it, much of the map is concentrated in the white area. That is about 1,000 cubic meters of water per person per year. Where you have the dark sheets for the earlier one, that means that there is no data, which is very common for most of our African regions. Chairman, this one also talks about freshwater withdrawals as of 2014. And the light shaded color shows low level of stress, while the deep indicates that there's high level of stress. So you observe that where there's no color at all, it's white, that means we don't have data at all. So for our country, Ghana, there is no data available to estimate. But some other countries are highly stressed, especially those far to the north. Water withdrawals by continents. Across the world, 69% of water, that's the top bar, is used for agriculture. 19% is used for industry, and only 12% is used for municipal services. If you consider Africa, the world is 69%. Africa consumes 82% of this water in agriculture, 5% in industrial services, and 13% in municipal works, indicating that agriculture takes much of the water, whilst industrial growth can be seen here to be very low because the water consumption level is only 5%. The water withdrawal also goes with population growth. And from the 1900s, where consumption was very low, around 500, this has increased to about 4,000 in 2010, when population is said to have increased beyond 7 billion. Chairman, irrigated areas across the world have also been looked at vis-a-vis that of the Africa region. And I must say that irrigation-equipped areas as a share of cultivated land, that's areas that have been equipped with irrigation facilities, in Africa is only 5.8% as on the top, whilst across the world the average is about 17.7%. The actual irrigated area as a share of the equipped area. So normally we have the equipped area, and the area that cultivation takes place is said to be about 81% of the 5.8%. And across the world it's about 92.4%. Whilst water managed area as a share of cultivated area is only 6.7%. The lower values are said to be as a result of deteriorated irrigation facilities across our various flows. In the sub-Saharan region, substantial new investments in agriculture are needed to meet targets of poverty alleviation and food security. In Africa, it is estimated that about 24% of the arable land is under cultivation, and of this, 0.5% is under formal irrigation. So if you took the 24% as 100%, only 0.5% of the 100% is under formal irrigation. The sub-Saharan Africa as a whole, however, has abundant renewable natural resources, water resources, though not evenly distributed across the region. The river systems that exist in this our area and carry our water resources downstream for use are abundant, but their distribution spatially and temporally is influenced by the effects of climate change, topography, and the geology of various locations. The mean rainfall for our region is about 670 millimeters, even though there are disparities, and averagely Ghana is about this. Along the coast of Sierra Leone, Liberia, Madagascar, annual total rainfall exceeds 2,000 millimeters, as I indicated, to be above the African region estimated average. Even though there is considerable runoff in tropical West and Central Africa, the overall runoff of our continent is however lower than that of North and Central America. Apart from the small rivers that drain to the east coast and discharging their waters into the Indian Ocean, 9 major river basins traverse many countries in the Africa region. And they are the Nile, the Congo, Zambezi, the Congo, Orange, Volta, Niger, Lake Chad, and the Senegal. The total runoff has been estimated to be about 4.2 billion cubic meters per year, while the total stable runoff is about 2.1 billion cubic meters per year. And our region, Africa, is known to withdraw about 3% of its annual river flow from, although the percentage going to countries north of the Sahara can be thought to be higher. So as I said, as we go towards the north, then what happens is that the demand for water increases because of the scarcity. The main feature of this runoff is its seasonality and harnessing of the water resources. In this, our continent needs a lot of technological interventions. As we move from the sub-Saharan region, we enter our country, Ghana. So, Chairman, our country, Ghana, has water resources comprising surface and groundwater sources. And we have about 53.2 cubic kilometers per year, of which 30.3 kilometers per year is internally produced. That means that 22.9 cubic kilometers of surface water enter our country from our neighboring countries. And out of this 22.9, 8.7 comes from Burkina Faso, 6.2 comes from Cote d'Ivoire, and 8 comes from Togo. So we are importing water by natural means. And this doesn't include groundwater flow that is not directly measured. This is surface water. In the north, where we are located, the rivers are mostly intermittent or ephemeral. That means that they don't carry water throughout the year. Whilst perennial rivers are located mostly at the parts of Ghana where we have bimodal or two rainfall seasons. However, the Volta river systems continue to flow as a perennial river because of groundwater. Our country, Ghana, is drained by 3 river systems. That is the Volta, which takes about 70%, the Southwestern River, 22%, and the Coastal River system, that does 8%. The Volta River system is the longest in the country, and it covers along its route the total length of the Volta River. 42% of it is in Ghana, 43% in Burkina Faso, and the remaining 50% is in Mali, Cote d'Ivoire, Togo, and Benin. So the Volta River, if it is affected upstream, then we at the downstream are going to be much affected in terms of river water resource use. There are competing demands, especially in the Volta Basin, between power and agriculture, because our national grid electricity is highly dependent on the Volta river system. However, land degradation and climate change have been realized to have so much impact on the availability of water resources in our basin. Lower rainfall amounts, coupled with long dry seasons, all emanating from climate change and other anthropogenic activities, have a large effect on the drying of rivers and streams in our locality. Farmers in our area have been largely encouraged to use the river basins for cultivation purposes. And this is because of the residual moisture that it contains, as well as the alluvial soils which contain high levels of nutrients. The Volta river system has the Black Volta, which includes the TEYE in the then Borno region, the white water, which consists of the red water, the Kurupon, Sicily, Nasia, Moli, Naboho, and so on and so forth. All that makes up the Volta River system. The coastal river system, however, comprises the Toshi Aka, Densu, Ayensu, Ochi Ikwa, Ochi Amisa, Kakum rivers, and as well as other small and ephemeral streams in that area. The southwest river basin comprises the Bia, the Tano, the Ankobra, the Pra, which includes the Ofin and the Brim basins, and the Butri River basins. Chairman, as we talk of rivers, and we look at the water resource available for irrigation, we will reflect and look at this map, where there's a shift from a single to annual brewing season as a result of increased availability of water. What happens is that the rate at which the green color increases influences that there is continuous cultivation. So this map is used to denote where there is introduction of irrigation, especially the dry season, to provide water for farming purposes. World irrigation trends and statistics. Across the world, we have 130.09 million square kilometers of land. That's out of which agricultural land alone is 49 million square kilometers. Out of this agricultural land, not every agricultural land is arable, can be used for agricultural production. 14.17, that is the third color down, is arable land. And the area that is equipped for irrigation, that is the blue area, is 3.31 million square kilometers. Dry land is 1.86 million square kilometers. That is area that is very difficult to work with. Across the world again, looking at our area of irrigation, vis-a-vis other countries, especially countries in the global south, which have been presented here as Burkina Faso, Cote d'Ivoire, Nigeria, Ghana, Ethiopia, South Africa. Our percent irrigated land is not encouraged, as only South Africa has 13.4%, whilst our country is at par with Nigeria at 0.7%. Other countries like Israel is doing 92%. Chairman, I look at our country and irrigation development. The history of irrigation in Ghana. Irrigated agriculture started back in 1890s at the Anglaba area in the Volta region and Boko in the Upper East region, where in Anglaba they cultivated mainly shallots, while Boko onion cultivation was the major activity. Ghana Irrigation Development Authority is by law the sole public sector organization that is responsible for the promotion and regulation of irrigation infrastructure and other agricultural water management systems or techniques. Officially, it began in the 1960s and functioned as land planning and soil conservation unit. In 1964, it was upgraded to irrigation, reclamation, and drainage division, and focusing on irrigation as a key strategy to address challenges. In 1974, it was further transformed into a department called Irrigation Department. In In 77, a Supreme Military Council decree of 85 was enacted to adopt GIDA as an autonomous entity. And GIDA is responsible for feasibility studies and the development of irrigation projects, technology transfer to consumers of irrigation services in the management and maintenance of irrigation infrastructure across the country. The schemes in Ghana are mostly managed by the irrigation schemes, by the Ghana Irrigation Development Authority itself, the Irrigation Company of Upper Region, that's ICO, and the Water Users Association. Currently, we have about 56 public irrigation schemes across the country, managed by the authority, covering an area of 16,908.85 hectares. The types of irrigation that have been classified according to organizational structure and size are the informal irrigation systems, and normally they cultivate an area of up to 0.5 hectares using simple structures and equipment. The formal irrigation, which mostly depend on permanent irrigation infrastructure, the large-scale commercial irrigation, either formal or informal. We also have the conventional irrigation systems, which are developed by government, NGOs, and donor agencies, and they are mostly the public surface irrigation systems, the small reservoir-based systems, the domestic wastewater and stormwater irrigation, reception, agriculture, traditional shallow groundwater systems. The emerging systems are normally initiated and developed by private individuals and farmers, either independently or with support from government or NGOs. And they include those who dig the boreholes or the wells. We call that groundwater irrigation. The river lift irrigation system, those who put the pumps and pump the water. Then we have a public-private partnership-based commercial irrigation systems, the lowland, valley, rice, water capture system, and then small reservoirs. Chairman, there have been several interventions by government in the area of irrigation. And I must say that our country, Ghana, in 2015 was said to have reduced poverty and the number of people who are hungry for that time. And it was the first country to be said to have met the MDG 1 of halving poverty and hunger in our region. Extreme poverty in Ghana declined from 8.4% in 2012-13 to 8.2% in 2016-17. However, in absolute terms, Mr. Chairman, more Ghanaians are living in extreme poverty. Statistically, it looks good. With the number of people living in extreme poverty increasing from 2.2 million in 2013 to 2.4 in 2017, based on the 2010 projections which were made in 2018, we need to actually wake up to support the sector by developing our irrigation system. There has been marginal increase in the Gini coefficient, indicating that inequality has worsened over the time, which means that the social class in which this poverty is defined, there are more people getting poor over the period than as reported. Out of the interventions in terms of policies, laws, legislative instruments, and so on and so forth, since 1977, Mr. Chairman, I would like to just take you through some of them out of the 22. Well, the SMC decree of 1977, decree 85, establishing GIDA, the Water Resources Commission Act 522, 1996, Water Users Regulation LI 1692, 2001, Drilling License and Groundwater Development Regulations LI 1827, 2006. So you can't actually drill a borehole without
going through a licensing system. Ghana National Water Policy 2007, the National Irrigation Policy Strategies and Regulatory Measures 2011, the Riparian Buffer Zone Policy of 2013, Irrigation Water Users Association Regulation LI 2213-2016, the Dam Safety LI 2236-2016, and our One Village, One Dam Initiative of 2017. Mr. Chairman, our country, Ghana, is largely dependent on agriculture, which accounts for 20% of our GDP and employs most of our workforce, most of whom are smallholders, marginalized, and youth. We are a net importer of food. Government's investment in irrigation technologies to translate into improved livelihoods, especially women, marginalized people, and youth, have been overwhelming. The government of Ghana has invested in irrigation infrastructure, as well as rehabilitation of existing projects, including the Pong Irrigation Scheme, the Pong Left Bank Irrigation Project, the Tono Irrigation Scheme, Improvement Phase 2 Irrigation Project, the Ashaman Irrigation Spillway, and the famous Colorado Multipurpose Irrigation. The government has also implemented the One Village, One Dam initiative as a very important flagship program. And under this initiative, a total of 570 dams were to be constructed in the northern regions of our country in the year 2019, with the following features. To cover a land area ranging between 2 and 3 hectares, F-embankment ranging between 150 to 250 meters, maximum height of 5 meters, maximum depth of 5, 2 down and 2 up, water holding capacity of 30,000 cubic meters, inlet and outlet structures to supply water downstream, and a spillway control system. The benefits of the One Village, One Dam initiative emanated from the fact that the government saw the need to boost agricultural productivity to achieve sustainable industrial and agribusiness development, especially the northern part of our country, as a means of wealth and job creation, especially as I mentioned earlier, for the youth, the women, and the marginalized. It would also improve food and nutrition security. Investments in the country, the area of irrigation, are noted as follows. Under the One Village, One Dam, it was expected that we would have spent about 1.425 billion Ghana cedis. That means 2.5 million cedis per dam per community. In 2008, the government spent 7.9 million cedis in the rehabilitation of the Tono irrigation project. In 2018, that is 10 years on, it is spending again $50 million in rehabilitation and modernization of the Pong irrigation project, the Pong Left Bank irrigation project, and the Tono irrigation project. So the Tono irrigation project, which received 7.9 million cedis in 2008, 10 years on, has deteriorated again. The single largest investment, as pronounced by the government, is being done in the construction of the Colorado Multipurpose Dam, amounting to $993 million, and is going to be done in the Northeast region and some portions of the Upper East region. It will cover 350 cubic kilometers as surface area, that's the water, and an estimated 25,000 hectares of agricultural land across the Volta River area. The Northern Rural Growth Program, NRGP, is noted to have invested in several irrigation facilities. And I would like to mention that in the northern region, it invested in 5 community-managed irrigation schemes, equipping them with electricity-powered pumps amounting to 18 million cities. GSOP has also invested in several other projects. Across our country, we have about 755 dams, 2,633 dugouts, covering 10,262.34 hectares of land under informal irrigation. Formal irrigation, however, has about 66 projects covering 10,764. EDIF, that's Export Trade, Agriculture and Industrial Development Fund, is supporting several projects covering an area of 12,060 hectares in 6 regions, and they are doing design, redesign, design review, pre-feasibility and construction of new and rehabilitating other projects. Some of these projects are us over there. Chairman, at this point, let me talk a little about some works that myself, my team have done in the area of contributing to this sector. I would like to say that in the irrigation sector, when we talk of livelihood, we talk of areas where people get fresh foods in terms of vegetables, fruit, cereals, where animals go to drink water, income from direct labor, income from produce sales, fishing, fish farming, then employment as farmers, source of water for construction, that's our local construction, and also for our local industries, as well as domestic uses. Indirect livelihoods also include people who operate private transport, produce trade, that's the traders in the market, input trade, those who sell agro inputs, food security and nutrition security, as well as ecological stabilization. Chairman, as my memory serves me right, in May 2003, there was a proposed irrigation project in the Sabugun and John district where we did some studies. It was called the Chapter Irrigation Project. And in this project, we went out to find out the rate at which the irrigation dam would get silted when constructed. And in our study, it came out that for the right bank, about 1.4 rate of soil detachment will take place, while the left bank would have 1.02 rate of detachment of soil as a result of erosion. This we noted that when constructed, giving it a period of 15 years, the useful life of this reservoir would have been reached. The useful life is when half of the reservoir carrying area is covered with sand or silt or soil. So we recommended that there should be high level of catchment protection, that is to improve the vegetative cover, avoid bush burning, tree cutting, and then if these are not undertaken, they have to be regular desilting of the reservoir at least every 15 years. Chairman, in 2007, we traveled further to the Nasir River Basin to assess and see the rate at which the river basin was degrading. And we observed in the field that from the pictures on the right-hand side, that burning was very common there, thus exposing the soil to the direct impact of rain, and meaning that there will be high level of erosion. Even in the rainy season, the next picture indicates that there were exposed patches of dry areas, thus meaning that the direct impact of rain can also cause soil dispersal and subsequent entrainment and deposition in river channels. The picture at the lower end shows farming very close to the river, thus meaning that loosening of soil also presents the soil to be exposed to the effect of direct impact of rain. We undertook an exercise to see the rate at which the vegetative cover was deteriorating. So we decided to take satellite image of the Nasir Basin. That is the green area. So we say that it looks the same, the first and the second, the shape. And in fact, there is difference between the brown area, the first one to my left, and then the second area. We took satellite images of 1990 and the year 2000. And out of these satellite images, you can observe that the 1990 is to the left. You observe that there is more green in that one compared to the one to my right. That shows that the rate at which we cut the trees, we remove the vegetative cover and expose the soil to the vagaries of the weather, and the direct impact of raindrop was high. In analyzing these maps, we came up with this table. Chairman, we realized this. Over the 10-year period, the percentage cover was classified as closed savanna, open savanna, water body, dense herbaceous, grass plant area, and then built area. So like this, all we are in. Before this construction, if you took the satellite image, you have seen that it's green. Now the building has come, and the effects of this building on the environment is what we are looking at as built or bare area. 1990, the percentage of land cover for closed savanna was 21.9% out of the total of 5,399.10 square kilometers. But 10 years on, it reduced to 11.9%. That means that we have lost the tree cover to other factors or other land use categories. The open savanna reduced by 3.2 from 38.8 to 35.6, and water bodies from 1.1 to 0.7%. So you can see the water bodies too are going down. However, the dense herbaceous, that's the grasses, increase. Although there's a negative there, is an increase to 4.1% and 0.6%. Then the area that burned takes place also increased by 0.2%, whilst area that is bare or bent increased to 8.7%. In the river channel, we followed up and we observed this, that there was high level of sediment deposition, soil, in the river channel. And this means that the water will carry all this channel, sediment into our reservoirs. Chairman, we looked at land use and land cover changes in various reservoir catchments in 2017. And if we observe that deforestation, bush burning, urbanization, and construction of dams and agriculture contributed much to the changes. And we undertook a study from 1986 to 2016, considering our GIS map. You see, the top is the same shape, the middle is the same shape, the lower is the same. That is trade down flatness. Actually, this work was done in 9, but I will talk about the trade. So that it is covering the northern region, that's Botanga, the upper East Tono, and then the Fiama in upper west. If you take the top one, in 1986, you see that the shape there and the color is more green. That is for the Botanga catchment. Over the period, the next year was 1996, 2006, and 2016. You observe that in 2016, the color had moved from green to yellow, indicating the rate at which our vegetative cover in the Botanga catchment is degrading fast. The tono, the blue shade is the dam, the Botanga dam. If you take the tono in the middle, it's the same thing. Although the tono wasn't so good in 1986, you realize that there is still a high rate of deterioration of the environment as a result of land uses. The west was in the Fiama. And I'm very happy my regional minister, Honorable Dr. Hafiz Dinsali is here. The Dafiama catchment indicates a high risk zone for the dam and its sustainability. You observe that in 1986 it was very green. By 2016 it has totally changed to yellow. That means that everything is going. What are the causes of this? We observe there is land expansion for crop production purposes. Firewood and charcoal burning, especially the Sisala land, now the Gonjas too have lent it, and some people around the Wulugu area. Timber production. Rosewood was the talk of town some days ago. It's also causing this. The indirect causes are population growth, economic factors, climate, institutional factors. Chairman, we decided to do some other work. You may not be interested in what is the formulas there. But what we did was very simple. We wanted to see the rate at which suspended sediment, that is soil that is deposited in the river channel, occurs. So we used the formula there by Fonio 1960. And it related what we call the leaf factors and that of the precipitation index. That's the ground formation and that of the rainfall dynamics. We also looked at the river flow, what we commonly call the discharge. And some rating equations were produced. We used this formula and we came up in the Nasia Basin to find out that 19.9 tons per square kilometer per year of sediment was produced in the Nasia Basin onto the river channel. That means that a lot of soil was going into it, which is transported into the white water, which continues downstream to other areas. On the rating equation, we wanted to see whether there was a relationship between what we are predicting and river discharge, that's the flow of river. And we observed that there was high level of relationship between them. So the first graph, the high level relationship, which is about 99.5%, indicates that there's a high level of relationship between the two factors. And this was also reported for that of suspended sediment concentration. Soil loss estimation, we also did some soil loss, and we observed that generally for all the river basins that it was up to 96.3 tons per hectare, averaging 3.7 to